Hmm. Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, I am on episode number 414. We're here reviewing episodes 13 to 15 of the series of King-Ohger. 13 kind of continues the story from the previous two episodes, and so it's just basically Jerome go to various places. Basically, Gira, who's the Red Ranger, who was supposed to be the star of the show, he's taking a back seat these two episodes. He doesn't do a lot, per se, in these episodes. You see, trying to take a little tour of basically his factory, into a little bit of backstory. And apparently also that Jerome actually knew Ohsama's mentor, Gin, with they showed a flashback in episode 13, which I found that to be interesting. So it's kind of in a way an episode for it's a character development for Youst and Ohsama and of course basically Jerome. And of course basically because he doesn't like Regulus very much, so he proceeds to use basically Jerome's illusion to make a giant futon, or a giant pillow, and make a farting noise to embarrass him. And so Jerome doesn't know about this until a little bit later when Regulus meets him and like, oh, here's a present for you, and he accidentally falls on it. By the way, also we bring back the guy who this particular creature who appeared in, like, I kid you not, he appeared back in like episode 8, and it is shocker the fact that this creature's alive. Get the fact he's poisoned. How the heck he survived is, I think his name is Garjum. Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see him back here, because here he is appearing in episode 13. Yama, basically. It's like he's back here. I'm like, wait, why is he back for? I thought he died. Nope, he is, in fact, alive. Somehow, he just is. And he's also in the very next episode, by the way. Yep. Though he does take a couple episode break, but he'll be back. Oh, don't worry, he will be. So his thing is like, okay, so he comes back to him alive, despite the fact that it was like, how are you alive? You got killed. Yep. So he eats one of the things, go giant size in the episode. So, by the way, in the episode we get debut of God Tarantula, basically Jerome's personal mech. Later in the episode, because he gets angry over the fact that this conflict is just. He thinks it's very meaningless. Everyone just basically show cool moves. And he's like, nah, basically. So here's what he does. He gathers up all of the kings and takes away their swords. I'm like, okay. And also, it's kind of and then of course, you have him flying about in the next episode because he's angry because basically they dare use something his mother gave him as a joke to fool Regulus. So then of course he proceeds, and then he's attacked by, of course, Hirome, who accuses him of being the mastermind behind the Fear of the Gods 15 years prior to the show. And she fights him, gets back basically their swords. I'm like, that was easy. And, well, he gets away thanks to, well, believe it or not, thanks to, of course, Gamadru, who he basically he just basically kind of, well, after he saves him, after he kind of beats him. So, yeah, and then of course he just kind of joins his side. And, oh yeah, then of course then he's brought by Rita, which by the way, she did this also, this is the second time basically she brought him to the court. And this is so funny when I saw this again. So, he's made into a snowman, just like Gira was back in episode 5 of the show. I'm like, that's interesting. And just by sheer coincidence, this happened to happen 9 episodes after this happened. And of course, he's accused of being the mastermind of the Fear of the Gods incident, which basically caused a lot of their people to basically come about. And this is basically referenced again. I think this is the first one they referenced in a while, because this was an event in the series. Like, yeah, it's explained, like, what happened with, of course, the Eroshi. I'm going to try to basically get the name of this country right, because I do not want to get this name wrong. Ohsama, yes. Where they basically detailed what happened with it, and of course, also Fear the Gods, they show happened in Nicaragua. Excuse me. Even episode 15, it show happened with it in a land of tofu. So, and after interrogating him, it turns out he actually has an alibi during the whole thing. He was a slave for a year, and he was being basically a tourist attraction. Yeah, that's kind of, and of course, basically, it's Ria's assistant who happened to find this. And of course, also then we have the tailor dress girl return in the episode, and we also reveal the reason for the origin of the Muffin anime, where the reason why this was created was to soothe her sadness over parents' death. And so, by the way, she's probably about 25 at this point, so an anime that's gone on for 25 years. Oh yeah, and this is also kind of hints back, well, they made her basically probably kind of knows the fact Rita basically is a fan, because she carries a small plushie of this damn thing in her pocket, and her ringtone is basically the show's theme song. So of course she's a fan of the show. My guess must be broadcast in her country, presumably, anyways. Oh yeah, and the tailor dress girl. By the way, this actually was the first appearance in the show since like episode 3. Yeah, this is... Let's see, what is her name here? Okay, so her name is Ida. That's her name. Yeah, this only was her second ever appearance in the show, because I remember her appearing in episode 3. And then she appears here in her father's shop. And she made apparently she made 4 appearances in this series. Yeah. But it's... Yeah, of course, basically living the country, and kind of sues over basically that, with the whole thing with Rumi. So, and then toward the end of the episode, we see this mysterious woman who's carrying the banner of the land of tofu. It's revealed in the next episode. This actually is, I kid you not. You're probably thinking, who the heck is this? Who's this woman? This woman is Suzumi Dabayashi. She is Karagi's little sister, who he is. He tends to dot on his little sister. Now, now, in case you're a little curious about basically their ages, the actress who plays her, very lovely woman, she is, at the time the show aired, she was only 30. Yeah, she was 30 years old. Well, she was born in 1983, so of course she was 30. As for the guy who plays her brother, so Katu, he is roughly 3 years older. So you can definitely buy the fact that he is the older sibling. So there's a funny bit where, okay, so let's have Kira dress up in this taxi's costume, which is so funny, just to rescue the princess, so they can all distract her. And of course, also Jerome is basically requested to become before the king to form an alliance with the bad guys, form a peace treaty. And Jerome basically is requested to arrange this. And Jerome's like, yeah, I have no problem with that. That's perfectly fine. I can do that, no problem. And of course, basically, the land of Tofu becomes basically a vassal state of the Center Kingdom. Interesting. There's a funny scene here. Well, aside from the whole thing with Kagura's wearing. So, we see Kaguri reunite with his sister. She's very happy to see him. And then she just plays the fact that she's in love with Regulus. And Regulus is like, okay. He's basically just, it's like he doesn't want it. He's very nervous about the fact he had this woman basically just going on him. Oh, in case you're curious though, is this woman, I mean, appearance-wise, she looks like she's a little bit older than Regulus. Regulus himself, the actor who plays him, is, I kid you not, he is 2 years older than she is. So I'm like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, that's this weird moment that you see in anime, like, oh, let's put hearts in her eyes. I'm like, why is an anime moment in a Super Sentai? This makes no frickin' sense at all. It is one of the most weirdest things I've seen. And then she sees Garrigan, he falls to the window, and he does not say anything to her at all. Yeah, he does not say anything at all. And, by the way, I'm sure the fact the actor playing Regulus is keeping a straight face, because I'm sure he probably finds this hilarious. The fact he is probably, like, I'm sure the actor, when he leaves the scene, he's probably laughing like crazy because of all this weird dialogue. The fact that we have a woman who's kept in this tower, and she's presumably in love with him because of Stockholm Syndrome. Okay. So, of course, basically, they beat the bad monster of the episode, who, I kid you not, he is basically a nod to Commander Black. Yes, seriously. The helmet is basically based, like, the whole fly motif, it's a nod to that one. I'm like, that's interesting. Like, why the heck would they make a Kamen Rider reference in Super Sentai? Yes, I get the fact they actually have met before. The first time they actually had an interaction between these two franchises was, I kid you not, during Shurikenger. That was the first these two franchises ever basically interacted, which led into the famous Super Attention movie. And Black was a bit interesting to say the least. Like, let me show off the monster here, because you're like, some of you probably don't believe me, the fact that, oh yeah, we actually have it where where one of the monsters is a nod to here he is, Belgium. You look closely at his helmet. Yeah, it's a Commander helmet. Now, according to this, it says here that it's the fly motif is basically a tribute to Commander Black. The helm is based upon RX. I'm like, that's interesting. Now you're probably thinking, is basically the rest of the monsters, are they not the Kamen Rider? Well, not really. I think that was the only one that actually was. The actor who played the monster from the previous episode, from episode 14. By the way, we also debut Tarantula's robot form because, of course, basically the Six Rangers mech also has a robot form. Well, commonly referred to as a warrior form. Yep. It is known as Tarantula Knight. Yeah, and apparently Tarantula Knight basically only appears in a few episodes. Yeah, 15 was his debut, and appears 2 more times after this, and then it just stops appearing. I'm not exactly sure why, but that's kind of how it is when it comes to that. Yeah, but I thoroughly enjoyed these episodes. Yep. Oh yeah, and also the fact the whole thing of like, yeah, so his whole animosity he had toward them in the 13 is kind of quashed thanks to the whole thing of the Fury of the Gods. So it's going to be interesting to go through the remaining episodes of the series, because get back, we have at this point 35 left to go, and for my break I have 18 left. Anyway, 18. Yeah. Because it's up at 33. Excuse me, when I get to it, there's actually a reason why I stop at 33. But I'm also going to cover some movies too. One, not really this franchise, but there's a reason why. We'll get to that. Yep. I'm trying to think what else. Oh yeah, the episode ends with Regulus and the Emperor of the Bug Empire having a meeting. And I saw this area, I'm like, wait a minute. I saw this area in Masked Man. I'm like, did they revisit this tunnel? Because this looks suspiciously like that particular tunnel. It's like the tunnels for this particular empire is from the same location as the underground tube. That was back in 1987. I'm like, is the villain faction themselves basically, like, is their base operations like a nod to Earth Empire Bug Neural? Yeah, I'm thinking that this is Earth Empire. I'm like, this reminds me a lot of Tube. Yeah, very much like Tube. Like, so that's another Sentai basically I just noticed basically where we take an inspiration. So the whole Six Ranger relation, the way they explain it, I think that they take it from Gal Ranger. And the Empire itself, it's similar to Mass Tube. It's an underground tube from Masked Man, which I think was released in 87, I think it was. Correct? Yeah, 87. I was actually quite surprised to see that. Because I did not expect that at all, per se. No. I mean, who would have thunk that? I mean, the leader's name is Earth Emperor. So I'm like, Yeah, this is very, very similar to Underground Empire Tube. Yeah, very, very similar. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But not much to say about these 3 episodes. Um, looks like next episode looks like we're gonna reveal how Rita got to where she is. I'm like, that's interesting. So now we're exploring how people got to where they were. Because we've already explored Hamio, we explored how she got there, how Yama got to his position, Kawaguri. Well, they explained basically that the previous lord was apparently hog on the food, so he led a rebellion to overthrow the king, and that's in episode 13. So it's like these episodes we kind of reveal how they got to the current position. 13 was Yama, 14 was Hamio, and now it's now it's Curry. Like, interesting to say the least. So 3 out of the 4, well, kings, we figure out exactly how they got the particular jobs. But so we're gonna read this next episode. I still think it was a mistake to cover her face because the actress is very pretty. And she's only 23. Yeah, only 23. Yeah, but not much to say about the show right now. Okay, so yeah, that's a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit that dislike button. So tomorrow, probably just gonna be Sentai tomorrow, and maybe a comic corner or two. Aside from that, I got something to do tomorrow, and well, there's also like Stone obviously too. I'll probably hopefully get home in time to watch it, presumably. I'll probably get a chance to watch No Problem tomorrow, so I'll get that done too. Because I'm sure probably the newest episode of Dr. Stone air tomorrow anyways. So after that, basically up until Saturday. Also, since Demon Slayer Retry is included on Saturday, I'm currently down to 3 more episodes of the go. 3 more shows of the go. Let me take a look here about this one quickly. For one of the shows is Blue Exorcist. Okay, so the final episode for that one, that's airing this Saturday. Yeah, that's airing this Saturday. Hopefully on Sunday, the third to last episode of season 1 for Fairy Tail Warrior's Quest. I'm hoping that airs. Yeah. Because as of currently, the only thing that's currently airing that I'm watching is Case Closed and Dr. Stone. Everything else is already ended in Japan, their seasons. Well, Freya is still airing, but it's going to come back next week. Don't worry about that. But yeah, that's particular view. So I will see you all tomorrow. Okay?